Hello, hi Rajivji, Kamal here from merasangeet.com and a warm welcome to you today once again on our show Chat and Chai.
Thank you, Kamalji. Pranam.
प्रणाम राजीव जी, कैसे हैं आप?
Very good. How are you?
Very well, thank you राजीव जी. इन दिनों गवर्नमेंट शटडाउन जब हुई तो बहुत से लोगों के जहन में सवाल बहुत से उठे हैं. Especially, a lot of people I'm sure would want to know if it would have any impact on immigration matters.
Well, it does. To me, it's a very odd situation that in a first world nation, we can actually have the government shut down. I would not have expected until I actually saw it. This is the second time it's happened in the last few years. Nevertheless,
Right.
What happens is those services of the government that are
Uh-huh.
not funded through fees are going to be
Mm-hmm.
shut down, and they're already shut down. For example, Department of Labor is not accepting filings; their websites are down. However, USCIS is open because they are funded through fees. ICE is open. CBP, which is the airport Customs and Border Protection, they are open. It becomes a little problematic for people to file H1s because one of the primary requirements for H1s is that you have to get something called an LCA from the Department of Labor. But if the Department of Labor is
Okay.
shut down, you can't really file an H1. So we have workarounds. We are doing them. Hopefully, they will all work out because back in 2009, a similar situation had happened where Department of Labor was not able to furnish the LCAs within 7 days like they are supposed to. So USCIS had
Okay.
started accepting these filings under certain circumstances. So we're probably going to do the same thing, although it's very distressing that USCIS has not issued an official statement on what they are going to do this year so
Mm-hmm.
far. So government shutdown is definitely unpleasant. I can tell you that the trails that I used to go for a walk, I can't go there anymore because they're closed down. They are federally owned lands.
Oh my.
So
Oh my. Okay.
simple, silly things like that to something very complicated, like in the government hospitals, children who need cancer medication cannot get it because the hospitals have closed down, lack of funding. So it's
Oh
just
my God.
it's very, very sad. Unfortunately, in this political showmanship, it's the people who get hurt.
Definitely, yes, of course. And let's hope. How long do you think, Rajivji, this is going to continue? Do you think, are you hopeful that things would revive soon?
I have no idea. Nobody can really say.
Hmm. Anyways, now, Rajivji, we will move on to some questions that our listeners have sent in here on Mera Sangeet.
Go ahead, ma'am.
The first one here says, how much time does the USCIS normally take to respond after the response to a RFE has been submitted?
Well, that question is impossible to answer. It depends upon the petition. It depends upon the length of the RFE. It depends upon whether the petition was filed premium or non-premium. It can be anywhere from a couple of weeks to several weeks, depending upon what we are talking about.
Okay. The second question here from a listener says, I have an H-1B approval notice that is valid until next year. I've been working with my present employer for the last 5 years, but have now found a position with a different company, which is in another town. Can my H-1B approval be transferred to this new company?
Yes, of course. H-1Bs are transferred all the time.
Okay. So he needs to, what does he need to do here, Rajivji? Does he need to kind of...
what happens is, Kamalji, in the H1 area, filing a new H1, filing an H1 transfer, filing an H1 extension, and filing an H1B amendment is pretty much the same paperwork.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean,
Okay.
suffice it to say that it's pretty much the same paperwork that has to be filed by the new employer.
All right. Okay. Moving on to another question here, Rajivji. It's sent in by a listener. It says, if my H-1B petition is denied by the USCIS or withdrawn by my employer, what will happen to my H-4 dependents?
They all go out of status because they are riding piggyback on your status.
Mhm. So here, Rajivji, I also want to ask you, supposing now, like you mentioned, these or everyone's going to go out of status, or in any other situation that may arise that people go out of status, how much time are they generally given by the government to stay on in the US to kind of either evoke their, H-1B or whatever their status is? Uh, is there a possibility that they can extend their stay, or do they have to leave the country in a certain specified period of time?
That question has so many variations. I'll have to narrow it down. First of
Okay.
all, for an H-1B holder or a derivative H-4 holder, if there is a
Uh-huh.
denial of the case, there is absolutely no grace period at the back end, not even 1 day.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay. In
Mhm.
S744, the new law or the new bill that was passed by the Senate, there is a grace period, but there is no grace
Mhm.
period under the current law, not even 1 day.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So, Rajivji, these were the queries sent in by our listeners here on mirrorsingi.com. We once again thank you for your time for being a part of our show today.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajivji. Have a good day
You
ahead.
too, ma'am. Bye bye.